we can use our technique of solving proportions and apply that to a word problem. The key is develop your proportion first. Develop your proportion from using the information that is given in the question. For whatever it is that you do not know, use a letter to represent that. It could be X, it could be N, whatever letter it is that you want. Then solve for the unknown variable. And from there, you should be able to solve almost any problem that requires a word problem to be solved using ratio and proportion techniques. The technique discussed in ratio and proportion, solving a proportion, can be applied to a word problem. In this case, we have a word problem which says, in a chemistry class, the ratio of men to women is 3:2. If there are 21 men in the class, how many women are there? The important point is to start by representing what we know in the form of a proportion. The problem says the ratio of men to women is 3:2. So there are 3 men for every 2 women. So I write that down. 3 men for every 2 women. And I write the word men and women in my problem to make sure that I do not make a mistake when I have to place in my 21. It gives me a direct way of making sure that I'm on the right track. There are 3 men for every 2 women. The question says if there are 21 men in the class, therefore I write my proportion like this. There are 21 men, so where does the men go? Does it go to the top or the bottom? This tells me where it goes. There are 3 men to every 2 women, therefore the 21 men goes on top. 21 men for X amount of women. And I have my proportion set up right here. From there, I simply use my cross multiplication technique in order to solve my proportion. 3 times X, 2 times 21. 3 times X is 3X. Equal sign returns. 2 times 21. And then remember again, we need to divide by 3. Therefore, X is equal to 2 times 21 divided by 3. From here I can cancel out. 3 into 3 goes once, 3 into 21 goes 7 times. Therefore, X is equal to 2 times 7 divided by 1, which is 14. Therefore, there are 14 women in the class. Here is another word problem that we can apply a proportion to solve. The problem says Susan drove 165 miles in 3 hours. At the same rate, how far can she drive in 5 hours? We apply our ratio and proportion technique to solve such a problem. The problem says 165 miles in 3 hours. So I write 165 miles in 3 hours. Again, notice my labels so that I know exactly where my other numbers would go. At the same rate, how far can she drive in 5 hours? I have 5 hours. In my other fraction, the 5 hours need to go below. And if I continue doing my problem, this means there's X amount of miles. And from here, I cross multiply. Problem should be 3 times X. This is 3X. Equal sign returns. And then 165 times 5. Remember again, we need to divide by X on both sides. Therefore, we divide by 3, on both sides. Therefore, X is equal to 165 times 5 divided by 3. Therefore, X is 275. Therefore, she drove 275 miles in 5 hours.